Righty, so I finally had a headlight bracket that I hadn't sorted out without the new bolt. I'd just done that and painted it. What else have I done? I've been mucking around with some of the bits and pieces for the suspension for the Dodge, just to kind of, I wouldn't say fill in time, but just because I want to try and get this together. So it's to be able to be moved, and then we can start cleaning out that motor and gearbox, hopefully very, very shortly. I know the guy wants to come and scrap it and clean it up, which would be handy. So yeah, if I can get the chassis back together for this in the next few days, would be good. So I've wire brushed a lot of the bits and pieces, plus I got some other stuff soaking, so I can get that all sort of cleaned up, so at least it all will wind and bolt back together. And so yeah, I've been mucking around with I'm kind of doing that while I've been waiting on little bits and pieces to paint to dry, so I can just see get the stuff for this. So I've got, there's that other bracket in there, so I've got to organise some nuts and bolts to there. I want to put cap screws and nylocks and probably Loctite them in for them. I gave these a wee wipe. I need to polish them properly, but they actually cleaned up okay. I just get a spray on some brake cleaner and gave them a good wipe out. So it looked like they had a lot of residue and crap on them. Yeah, and then I mucked around with that other headlight bracket and just painted it. What else I've been doing? Trying to think. Yeah, and just maybe just clean out these other bolts and bits and pieces. They're all in here. So at the moment, just trying to get some of the thick gunge off some of this other stuff. Some of it all wire brushed and some of it I just left soaking. Like the more gungy stuff I threw in there. A lot of it I wire brushed. Whatever I did with all that shit. It's in a pothole somewhere. So I can clean it. Oh, it's over here. It's alright. I just wire brushed a lot of the stuff up, just so it's sort of clean and ready to go. I'll go back through it when I get all the other stuff cleaned up and work out what we need to do to throw all this back together, if you know what I mean. To at least some degree where it can be moved in and out, which would be handy. So that's kind of where I'm up to. And so I've actually been making two videos here at the same sort of time, but I was just giving a brief update sort of what I'm doing. These are the piece together, but I just want to let it dry a bit more before it's like hard, but it's not hard. If you hold onto it too hard, you end up with fingerprints, so I'll just let it harden up for 24 hours overnight before I put it on. Muck around with, well, I don't really muck around, I just put this on to check it. I'm going to make up a little cork gasket to put in around the top. It goes in there, it's like a little cork seal. Just we'll go in there just to help seal it, I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing. It's got an overflow tube, so I guess that'll just stop it from, if it does get hot, it's just got something to seal so it doesn't weep around the cap. It'll push it out the overflow, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and then we need to at some point work out how to get this in. It's another thing. I've just been poking out again, trying to work out what we're going to do with this enamel Studebaker emblem. I've got to try and get that in there somewhere. I'm just not quite sure what to do, because if I push it through, if I like sort of bend this up and then try to push it through, I've got to try and get back in behind it to flatten it off. So I'm not just have to we think about it. But it'll borderline go. I don't know. I don't want to push too hard and then screw something up. So whatever we talk to Dad, I'd rather not wreck something. You know, I ask a few questions and not wreck something than wreck something and then go, oh shit. I think it probably only just needs a good shove, but you know, it's easier to ask a few questions before you shove. And at some point we'll have to do something with this fuel cap too. But yeah, it's kind of what I've been just playing with at the moment. And I'll have to organise some nice stainless steel cap screws and stuff to put this stuff together too. I think that'd be the easiest way, with dome nuts, cap screws and dome nuts. Same on here, because it'll just look nicer. This stuff here, I'll have to see if I can get some chrome dome nuts to fit on these too. So it's something else I've got to organise in the next few days. I wouldn't mind starting to put some of the stuff on. Well, I'm just mucking around just to help fill time while I'm thinking about other things, if you know what I mean. And we've got to get these in here too. I've almost kind of forgotten about these, but these here are going to go in here. They go down in there and then they just fleed out a little bit at the bottom. Hopefully they will go through without too many issues. It'll be fun. I did make up a little tool to do it, so hopefully it works, because I've only got one spear. So we'll do the best we can. But yeah, that's what we've got going on at the moment. Right, morning guys. So, those bits and pieces for the Dodge, for some of the bolts and U-bolts and stuff for the Dodge that I put in there, so I'm just giving them a bit of agitate and a bit of a scrub around, so I'll leave them there for another few hours and try and loose up there's all the paint and everything that's coming off a lot of that stuff, so that's quite good. So I'll just leave them there for a wee while longer. But one of these here is quite stiff. You can move it, but it's really, really difficult. Whereas the other one here is loose. It's just unfortunate that, because this is obviously this is one of the clamps I made by hand for the convertible top for that car. This one's quite loose, but unfortunately that one there, I must have had the tolerances a bit tighter in here when it's been nickeled, because they were nickeled together because of the pin. Yeah, the tolerance is a bit tight, so I just want to work them backwards and forwards a little bit if I can to try and just free that up. It'll come right, but it's just so stiff, it's almost impossible to do anything with it. Come right in a minute. This is going to have like a rubber or foam glued in it too, and just a little bit on here as well, just something thin. Eventually. I think that'll do. At least it works now. It's not completely stuck. Yeah, no damage. Didn't think there would be, but sometimes you just gotta be careful. Man, I did a beautiful job of these. just improved what I did. So nice. And they're not 100% dead perfect, but man, they're working pretty nice. Be nice to get those together. That's one thing. Anyway, so I'll carry on here and might start making a wee list of the hardware, and I might go get that and might start putting the stuff together, at least get some of it together and then work out what I'm going to do with the light bulb holders at some point. I have to try and see if I can find something from somewhere. Still not very happy with these fucking silver fucking headlight lenses. Well, not lenses, reflectors. I should have been way nicer than that. But anyway, I'll work out what I need for some hardware. I'll go see if I can find that. If not, I'll get something ordered and go from there. Alright, morning guys. So I ended up having to go, I tried to find hardware locally, like in the local little town. Couldn't find anything, so I ended up, by the time I hunted around town at a couple of places, it was basically lunchtime. So I ended up going home yesterday, and then Mrs. I knew that she wanted to do some stuff in town as well, so I ended up going to town to get hardware, and then we fluffed around doing other shit. So I did not end getting back. I probably could have come back for about an hour, but it was freaking hot and whatever yesterday, so we just sat outside and had a couple of drinks for an hour or two. But anyway, so since I got the hardware, I decided I might as well start bolting some of this stuff together, so at least it's another step forward. And the other thing I'm going to do this morning too is I want to shave these. I'm going to tape the ends of these up and then get a, I think I'll probably use an 80 Rolex disc and take the nickel off here because they just won't fit together. And hopefully I can get one of these bits back on here. Hopefully I can get this bit to go on here because it was a tight tolerance before they nickeled it. Fortunately, they haven't really put, I'm hoping they haven't put too much on the inside of them. And then I can get these to fit on. So unfortunately they've grown them quite a bit. And like I did ask them to put the, like I said in another clip, I did ask them to put this heat shrink right up to here and just chrome the end of the handle, but they chromed the whole, well not chromed, nickeled it. Because I actually chromed them for a start off and they sent them back to us without the other stuff. And we sent them back and we said, they're actually meant to be nickel, not chrome. Because it's a, you know, look, probably at the end of the day, most people wouldn't know, but chrome wasn't really used until the 30s, mid-30s, because they hadn't perfected it. It wasn't, well, I don't think they had got it sorted so that it was reliable, but I think the nickel looks just as nice. It's just slightly yellower, you know. It's like a slightly yellow chrome. But unfortunately, yeah, they shouldn't have put the coating up here. They should have just left it raw steel, which is a bit of a pain, but anyway, I'll get it off. It's just, would have been nice not have to do it. But anyway, so I've got some of these little stainless steel cat screws. It's about the easiest way to put these back together. And then obviously some little nylocks. And then I've got nuts and bolts and stuff for other bits and pieces too. I got nuts at the ends of these, plus like nuts and bolts and stuff to hold all this stuff together too. So at least it'll all look nice. It's all stainless and either nylocks if they're not seen, or the little acorn heads. And some of those acorn heads, depending on where they are, I'll put a little bit of Loctite on them, just a bit of medium strength Loctite, just so they don't come undone. So yeah, I will try and get some of the stuff on today, and then we'll see how I get on with other stuff, because I'd like to, once I get this stuff done, if I can get it done before the end of the day, or before lunch, I might have a play with that other stuff and get that chassis back together, or at least start getting those bits, even if they're on the springs and whatever, I don't know, we'll sort it out. So hopefully the nylocks won't come undone. I guess if we have any issues, we'll just have to Loctite them on. But you know, most people, when they see them, won't think that there aren't anything else apart from rivets, unless they have a good look underneath, if you know what I mean. That's it for its part. And then obviously this bit goes into here and somewhere. And so on and so on. We haven't quite got to that stage yet. So those both back together. Nice. There is some foam to go in here yet too, which I've got to get. I'm thinking would actually make the door rubbers out of the bump stops out of, which I think going to be I'm thinking that stuff there and glue it in upside down. I just have to cut a couple of slots out to go and down in here, and then we'll just put some thin, maybe just some real thin stuff on there. I even be able to use a bit of the stuff we put underneath the body on there. It's not too loose. That's what it could be. Let's put that right up into there. That'll work. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Just a nice amount of tension on there. If the top's up. if you're a wee bit worried about it, you know, you can always just carry a bag of cable ties and just cable tie it on if it does give issues, but that's nice, that wee bit of rubber there. But that's what we'll do. I'll just shape it and make it look tidy. Yeah, mine. Jewelry. Fuck yeah. Badass, bitches. Badass. Right, so I got the other one on, but unfortunately, fucking acorn nut they gave me is the wrong bloody size. I don't know. It's not 5/8. It's like, I don't know whether it's metric or I think it might be like 5mm or something like that. It's definitely not 5/8. Could be 6mm. It's too small, unfortunately. That's all right. Shit happens. We'll just have to go get another one. But yeah, they look freaking awesome. And that bit of foam is going to work perfectly, and I know where to get it from, so that's cool. Well, I think I know where to get it from. It's the same stuff we used for the bump stops. So I'll just, I don't know, what do I need about, I don't know, I've got I don't know, 1.5 foot. Probably 400, 500 mils of it. And I can do a nice I can round the end of it off so it comes up in here and sits in nicely. We'll glue it into here. Obviously I'll make a couple little, I cut a little bit of it out so it fits into here all the way down. We'll glue it in, and well, hopefully, we'll, if we have to dig in there here to get into these at any point, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, it'll be perfect. It's absolutely spot on. And then we'll just use, I think I've got it over here still. Still got it over here. Yeah. Might. Something like this anyway. On the inside of here. Just so, you know, it doesn't rattle against this. You know, just help protect the paint as much as we can. But yeah, that's cool. You probably find this to be up 90% of the time anyway, unless it's a really stinking hot day. You know, and you want a bit of air, but you can always drive around with the side curtains off and the windscreen open. Unless you got a bit of sun protection, but you're still going to be nice and cool cruising around in the heat. Well, you know, as cool as it can be. But yeah, they were freaking good. I'm just pissed off now that I didn't paint those gloss. But I could tape this out and take these off and just flick the gloss rattle can on there and then put them back on again. I sort of did them satin, but with a clean up, they mightn't look actually too bad once you have the car actually proper. Get it out and give it a wash, and you know, give it another wipe down and a wax and whatever else. They might not look that bad. I just didn't want them shiny, but they might have been better off. But I'll be alright, I think. So yeah, awesome. So now I'll dig into the door handles. We'll get the nickel shaved off the bits that go through here that don't need to be there. And we'll get them on. And then, yeah, I can actually probably screw that on now. That hood hold down, that should be dry enough now. It's been sitting around a couple of days, so that paint on that, at least it's not soft now. I can put that on. This isn't on. Well, it is on properly, but it's not on properly. I was still to make the gasket for the inside of that. Freaking tape. Just pulled the most of the tape off the stalls here. That's the only thing with fucking masking tape. It's good for fucking protecting shit, but leave it on there for a few days. It's not necessarily a bitch to get off, but it just doesn't come off as clean. You end up fucking pulling all the little bits off later on, like this shit. It's right, the car needs a clean anyway, so. Man, these fucking nickels, fucking so impressed with that grill surround, because man, it wasn't pretty when we first started, but man, they look good. Right, no, we'll carry on with the door handles. Yes, I've just got a little spring and keeper in there. And that's good to go on, apart from I'm going to put some, we'll get some slightly heavy black, you know, like vinyl transfer that we put on a car. It's meant to be black in here, so we're going to get some vinyl and put in there at the end of it. But yeah, finally, if they hadn't put the nickel on there, I might have just had to just do a little bit of filing to make that fit on, but fits good now, so that's the main thing. It's one down. 3 more to go. Right, morning guys. So I'm going to carry on detailing these handles so I can get them in the doors and in the locks and shit. So I'll carry on doing this to them, getting the nickel off so we can get these bits on. I'll do that and then we'll go from there. So I'll take these up, we'll carry on with these, and then hopefully I got the compressor pulled out because on Saturday morning, a couple of times when it went to start it was real heavy, and I hadn't actually checked it over for a wee while, so I blew all the filters out and just gave it a good blow down. So yeah, hopefully just a couple of times it was really laboured starting, and that's what it started to do. I frickin' burnt that switch out last time, and then they charged us for it because I didn't think it was a
Didn't think it was their fault. But I think it's just freaking. Probably, I don't think the switch is very good because it's got a 3-year warranty. We are probably, borderline 2 years into it now, I guess. Haven't had any problems since they put the new one on it and we gave it a good service. It's probably due for an oil change, which I might do. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like the pressure, the switch that turns it off and on. I just wonder if that's going to last very long again, you know what I mean? We'll find out, I guess. But yeah, so I pulled it out to just give it a check over it, or just leave it out just in case it does happen to play out. We'll see over next. So when I'm using the Rolex, you're using a lot of year, so we'll see what happens. Right, so just about got all these door handles sorted, but wherever the other one is. 1, 2. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway, but this here just tripped out. So I think what is happening is when I put the oil in here, it was in the middle of that red dot, and I just wonder if it's got a bit of moisture in here. For some reason it's seemed to increase its oil capacity. I just don't know whether maybe it's got a bit of extra moisture in there. It just doesn't like that extra air in there, or extra oil like level. I don't know, so I'm going to drain the oil and change it, and then we'll go again and see what's going on. But yeah, it just all of a sudden it started tripping out the thing, and didn't do that last time. It fried there, but it's like it's overloading. So I don't know. Weird, because it's been, I don't know, it's probably been about 12 months since we had that switch burn out. It'd be close to that, I guess. I'd have to have a look back. I'm pretty sure it was about this time last year that the same problem happened. I just drained a bit of moisture out of it. That was it. But yeah, we'll drain the oil out and we'll top it back up, and then I guess we'll just have to see where it's in, because I blew all the filters out the other day. I've done that probably 3 or 4 times over the last 12 months, I guess. But yeah, they weren't horrendously dirty, but yeah, I don't know, it's just weird that it started just loading up when it wants to go. So I'll change it all just in case, because the levels seem to have risen. For what reason, I don't know. Whether that's causing it to do it. So I've got some more oil there, another litre to throw in it, because that's apparently what it takes. Well, that's what I put in it last time. So yeah, we'll drain it and fill it back up.
2 days later.
Right. Yeah. Man, trying to get ahead now these last few days. Let's get some work done. Hasn't happened, but anyway. So, I left here Monday morning. Thinking I was going to come back and do this at lunchtime, whereas it's now Wednesday. I haven't been here for, well, I guess basically 2 days, but not quite. But just to put it briefly, Rachel had been having some breathing problems at night. So we tried to get to the bottom of that. She went to the doctor, did some ECG tests in her heart and listened to her lungs. She ended up in hospital. She got a little bit of fluid in the bottom of her lungs. Heart was slightly enlarged. A bunch of other things, so they kept her in overnight to monitor her and whatever, and changed her, obviously her heart medication and her diabetes medication and screwed around shit. So she's back home now. So, but yeah, basically I spent Monday afternoon down at the hospital with her, and then come home, I don't know, about 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever it was, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then went back down yesterday morning after I dropped the young fella off to mum and dad's, because it's still, say, summer school holidays here. So yeah, I drained the oil and never got any oil back. So we'll do that. and then we'll carry on with what we're doing here. So I think it's a pain in the ass because of one of the big car shows, probably the biggest one down here, in this part of the island anyway, without going to Rangiora, which is actually about this time of year as well, which is like the muscle car madness. That's like well in excess of 1,000 vehicles, but this one here is right on that 1,000. And it's this weekend. So yeah, I really need to catch up into work, so I might have to do a couple extra hours at night just to try and catch back up to where I would like to have been about a week ago. Just with everything's been so hickory-pickory lately. Yeah, I just don't seem to get a flow on, or I get half a day here and then have to go do something else. And I think I'd rather work for somebody, to be honest, in some forms of the thing, you know. It's a pain in the butt. But anyway, because I'm running out of, I wouldn't say time, but the time and the money, it gets eaten away, even if you're not working so much. You can't help it, but yeah, so I need to get into some of the shit. So we'll get it done. Get all this in this compressor, I'll get these frickin' handles sorted, finished. We'll get them on, and we'll get into this other stuff, and then I want to get that fucking chassis back together. That shit's still sitting in there. I haven't, but at least it should be nice and clean now. Yep, I think the compressor's buggered. I don't know what's. I think one of the motors done too much work. I think the pump's still okay, but it's really overloading. It's even overloading while I'm using the ear. Like I've got to basically drain the ear out of it to get the kickstart to start up, otherwise it trips out. And if I'm let it sort of get close to being built up and then start using the die grinder, it'll actually switch. It'll trip itself out before it actually, while I'm using the ear, it'll actually turn itself off, which in theory, if I'm using the ear, it shouldn't turn off. It should turn off after I stop using it. So it's tripping itself out, and then you go to push the button back in to fire it back up again, and it won't start until I basically drain the oil out. So it's obviously it's trying to draw too much current, or the brushes are worn out, or something. I don't know. The pain in the ass, because I have to find out whether it's still under warranty or not. So yeah, I don't know, because I've just changed the thing on the board. Because last year when I changed the oil, I wrote in here the date, and it was actually the 23rd of the 3rd, 2022. So it's been about 10 months since you changed the oil. So yeah, I think it's 15th today. I'll have to double check that. No, but it actually mightn't be the 15th. It's something else, but it doesn't matter. What's the date today? 18th, sorry. It might have been the 15th when I when I drained the oil. No, it would have been the 16th, but anyway. Yeah, so, yeah, it was the 23rd, I think. You can kind of still see the 2, 3, 3rd, 22, and behind. I wiped it off, but yeah. I think I've got that on video anyway, somewhere else, earlier on. So yeah, it's been about 10 months since I changed the oil. And I'm using it pretty much every day. Like, I just wonder, it's meant to have a 3-year warranty. So not 3 years yet. But yeah, I just, it's been an okay compressor. I think it was just a hobby shop. You're not using it every day, it'll be fine. But I don't know, this just newer, half reasonable stuff is still not very good. Like, like it's kind of too small for here, but it's not. It's kind of borderline. I think I really need something probably twice as big. But then all of a sudden you're going from, you know, sort of like $1,000 to 2 or 3. Yeah, and then you got to find somewhere to put it, which is a pain. Because I don't think that's up to the task. Like, yeah, the other day it tripped out a couple of times, and I thought, had a look at the oil, and it was actually slightly over full, which it definitely wasn't when I filled it. But I just wonder if it had been putting moisture in, you know, from pumping, and it's slowly getting moisture into the air, into the oil, if you know what I mean, and it would slowly increase the capacity. And then overloading it, so I thought, oh, I'll change the oil, because it was slightly above that red dot in the centre of the little sight glass. And I've poured basically all of that in. There's a little bit of residue on it, and it's in the middle of the sight glass perfectly. So it gained oil, or gained liquid, you know what I mean, because that's it all there. There's a little bit of residue in there, but that's all the oil out of it. And it's a little bit dirty, but it's not that bad. But yeah, it's actually just re-tripped the clicker back out, the trip switch. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I'll see if it will kick up. Right on camera. See? It should fire up straight away. What pressure's it on? Fucking pain in the ass, this thing. Yeah, hardly got any pressure in there. Try and show if I can. If you can see. No, hardly got any pressure in there. Back down, I don't know, 30, 40 psi, if that. Well, here we go. What are we at? Yeah, about 30. So it's a line pressure. So, yeah. That's pain in the ass. It's fucking no good to me. Man, there's always something. Alright, well, I'll wait back. I've had a phone call for that frickin' thing. Yeah. Anything above about 20 psi or less, yeah, it won't even kick on. It tries and then it overloads. So whether the motor is bugging up or whether the pump is, I don't know, fouling, because it's weird that it was overfull. Like, it wasn't a lot, but it was overfull. But now it's right dead on the middle of the thing with basically that full bottle. So I put exactly the same in last time, and it wasn't overfull. It was like that. So it had gained fluid, which is weird, which I think would be moisture. So it's unusual for that to be sucking it back in, but you know, it happens. You know, I don't drain it every day, but well, if I'm spraying, I definitely do. But yeah, I might drain it once a week, or depending on how much I use it. Obviously, if I'm using it lots, I'll drain it more often. But most of the time, sort of once a week, or maybe once a fortnight, depending on whatever. But yeah, so, and I've cleaned the filters probably at least 3 or 4 times in the last 10 months. So that's every couple of 3 months. So that should be more than fucking plenty. You know, I haven't been doing a lot of, I wouldn't say dirty work, but like body filler or sanding dust as in paint and shit, where it gets really thick. It's been mainly metal work, so it still gets dirty. I guess the belt sander's there, but I'm not using that every freaking day. You know, a little bit here and there. So, you know, I normally blow out around it fairly often and sweep up and whatever. So, well, you know, not that often, but you know, normally gives a reasonable clean every while. So I just, I don't get why it's freaking piling up unless it's just not up to the task of being used every day, you know, and if, with one man. It'd be different if it was like 3 or 4 guys in here. You definitely have a way better compressor than that. You know, I probably should have a better compressor than that, but we thought it would have done the job, but, you know, for what I was doing. But anyway, I'll get these together. With all the little clips and bits and pieces, we might throw them on the car and then put the inside handles. I'll just double check all the handles fit over these bits, because we had to take the nickel off them too. Make sure they all fit over. And this is the other one I just done. I was just checking that. So yeah, compressor gets shutting off, so I just wanted to make sure I had it done before before that disappears again. Pain in the fucking ass, but anyway. So you'll get these together and then put them on, put the inner door handles on, and then yeah, we'll see how we go from there. Right, hopefully you can see my head there, right? And I'm over here one talking, whatever. So just put the 2 handles on, and obviously you can't see there, can you? No. But anyway, got an inside handle on there. Works really nice. It's good. It's a good gap. I'll bring it here. Good gap on the inside of the door handle. Good gap on the inside of the door handle for a obviously door trim. We got 3/8 ish of an inch. Yeah. So I'm gonna have a wee look over yonder shortly. I've got a bit of some different thickness of plywood. I don't know if I've got any 1/4 inch. I'll see, and I may just make up at least make up a pattern, because there is a pocket that goes in here. I know that, so make up. We probably won't do it today, but I just want to see if there's some material over there, and I'll start making up all the bits that need to be made up, I guess, to help the upholsterer. If I can do that sort of stuff, they may change it for something else, but I'm guessing a bit of 1/4 inch ply or hardboard sort of type stuff, you know, that sort of darkish brown hardboard sort of type stuff, something like that. I don't know. It's probably what they would have used originally. And that's got like a weighted flap here, which goes into a pocket, which, you know, you can sort of weave a few things in there, so there'd be a bit of a pocket made up for it. And it's on all the doors. Probably only one that's going to be a little bit iffy is the right rear, because it's got that, we put that wire in that door to pull some twist in it, because I didn't make the door and just wasn't quite the right shape, so we put a bit of, you know, wire of the turnbuckle to put a little bit of an extra twist in that door to make it fit nicer. But so it's cool. That one on. Got that one on. Make sure we're in the right place. Yeah, close enough. The screen goes dark on the phone if you, once it's filming, after a few seconds. We'll throw this one on. That's good. Yeah, it's nice. It's got about the same gap there. Again, about that 3/8 of an inch ish. On there. Probably pull those screws up a little bit tighter in that inner door lock piece. Looks like it could be pulled in a little bit. These screws here could be just maybe sneaked up a little bit just to pull this in a wee flusher, but that's it, no biggie. So yeah, we'll get the other ones done, get the other handles together. These are still got the black strip in there. I'm going to go to one of the sign writers and just see, have a look, have a talk to them, and just see if we can get a kind of a heavy black satinish vinyl, and we'll put them, and that'll complete the door handles. Make sure they sit nice and straight. Awesome. So yeah, at some point we'll pull these out too, and we'll fit them in. So make sure that those old collars fit over that tube, not the tube, and these. So through, yeah, perfect. We'll put these in sometime next, whatever, day or two. Still want to get back to that Dodge and just get it on its, back on its feet. And get the body up there the right way. But yeah, I'm just doing all these little bits and pieces. I want to make this look semi-complete, and then we'll go back to the Dodge. Right, before I went away for lunch, I've got this one started on. I've got a couple of bolts in it down the front, holding it in. This made a screw-in pin bolt. I just put a real long, skinny piece of rod on it, just so I can, if it pushes all the way in there, I can pull it back out, just for that piece. There'll be one of those things I might just put a wee bit of tape or something on it and label underneath the seat for if somebody ever wants to take this off, they can just wind that in there so that doesn't, you know, the guard that they got off doesn't run away. Well, the bracket doesn't run away underneath it. So that works quite well, because I just couldn't get in there because I had a short bolt in there that I had cut the head off, but it was too fiddly. It sort of got bumped back in a bit. I had to use the magnet to pull it back out, so I just put a long piece of rod, so if it doesn't get pushed all the way in there, it still can't fall out from where it needs to be. So I've just only got a couple of bolts holding it on at the moment, so I'll get it on properly later and put, I think it might be those pieces over there. One of those is cut to fit around here earlier on. So how do I go with this now, with being here? Oh, that's alright, yep, that's cool. So that's why it's got that little dish and that. But yeah, that'd be nice when I got that all together, so that's cool. So I'm going to get these on this afternoon, and I want to get that headlight bar on. I want to get the strips in there. The headlight bar may not stay there permanently. We'll just see how we get on. But you want to get that on so I can just test fit all this stuff and just make sure it does all fit together, just in case I have to do anything to those little bases and those headlights. I can unscrew the bolts, take them back out, and muck around with them if I have to. Like it's only painted with rattle can in there black just so it doesn't rust. You know, that piece is, you know, goes on the base, so you don't see that piece. But yeah, we're another step closer. And the plywood that I had over there is this stuff. It's a bit thick. It's, you know, like if it was one layer less, it would be perfect to make these door trims out of. But it's the same, basically same thickness as that gap, and doesn't leave anything spare, if you know what I mean. You want a little bit so you can put a bit of padding and whatever on top. Doesn't need to be quite that thick, even if it was half that thickness. I think this might be, where's me rule I do? I think that might be 9mm. I think that's 9mm stuff. Yeah, it's 9, which is it's not half an inch. It's, I don't know. It must be dead. Must be borderline 3/8. So not quite 10. Not quite 10mm deep. So yeah, probably if I had 5mm or something like that, which would be 1/4 inch or a little bit less, would be perfect for this. So maybe some hardboard or something might be better. We'll see. We'll worry about that later. I just thought if it's here, I could drag it out and, you know, we can make some other bits, but yeah, I still want to muck around with that fucking thing, get that on its feet. But it's trying to get this so it looks a bit more like a car and make sure we're happy with things, and then we can, I want to carry on with this wiring as well, but I want to get this back on its feet so I can get the guy in here, clean this stuff up. I haven't been able to ram because I've just been so all over the frickin' place the last couple of weeks, like since Christmas. God, it's just been here, there and everywhere. Get a few hours here and there, you know. I think I've had maybe 4 full days or 5 full days down here in the last few weeks. It's been crazy, but anyway. We'll attack this after lunch. We'll get this all bolted on and get stuff on them. We'll get the headlight bases on and the brace and just make sure we're square and go from there. Right. So, I found out that in this warm weather I can't charge the phone and record at the same time. It fucking overheats. Too warm. Like, it's not horrendously warm, but it's still fucking warm up. So I think what I'm going to do, there's still a few bolts to put in here, but I'm going to put the bar across so I can put the headlight bases on at least and get an idea of where they sit and just figure out what we're doing from there. So yeah, that looks smart. I've got to tweak up a few bolts and bits and pieces and whatever. I've got to go through and sort out, find some bigger washers. I thought I had plenty. They're probably here somewhere. I'm so fucking disorganised at the moment. I need somebody to come down here and just give me a hand to, well, I keep working and they just pick up tools and just have a bit of a sort out while I'm going. Hell yeah. He's sit the running board on this side. It looks halfway complete, you know what I mean? Looks like it. So yeah, shame the rest of it's not done, eh? But geez, it looks good. Considering I have the wrong lights, they actually look really good on. Yep. Actually suit those big lights. Looks shit hot. Nice. Be nice to get the rest of it all, just everything buttoned up. Shit, that looks good.